Now, Loki season 2 has ended on a crazy high note, a cliffhanger if you may even call it that, because if we don't get season 3 and he doesn't appear in any other upcoming MCU projects, especially Avengers, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, it means this is the last that we will see of him. Now, this season has some insane moments that left our jaw dropping, shocked, surprised, leading to anticipation for every episode for most of the time. And so this video is about 8 insane moments that had our jaw drop. At number 8, we have Loki episode 2's opening scene. This episode opens up with Loki and Mobius trying to locate Brad, who may know the location of Sylvie. Brad in this time period, who is an actor now and kind of famous, he runs away, of course, and Loki and Mobius after him. I don't know why Loki isn't able to catch up to him, considering he's a god. He has, enhanced speed and strength, but anyways, we let that go. Brad is seemingly able to get away, and then he comes in front of a group of people who are, harassing him and not letting him pass. And that is when we find out that they are all constructs of Loki's magic. Sometimes we forget that Loki is a god and is capable of so much. It was a truly surprising moment because the scene just felt effortless, like real people, and then just bam, you find out that they are all Loki's constructs, and then he gets to Brad, pins him with his shadow, with the two actually transforming with the horns and everything, the Loki that we actually know, eyes glowing green. It was truly a menacing scene. In fact, it felt like the old Loki, and I loved it, and I know many people did as well. At number 7, we have the deletion of timelines. We all know that at the start of the season, we were racing for time, trying to fix the mess that Sylvie caused by killing He Who Remains. This led to the sacred timeline branching out, creating different timelines and branches, which the TVA couldn't handle, which the time loom that they had in the TVA couldn't handle. And so, General Dox does the unthinkable and tries pruning every timeline that is in the sacred timeline. Of course, we know that these timelines are not just branches, they are filled with millions and billions of people. So each timeline is just billions of lives lost. It may not have had the impact that it would have had if we had spent time in one or two or more timelines to see the people, to see that all these people are getting erased. But getting to see Sylvie, in a normal life, the people there, we actually know that these people might actually get erased if all their plans, General Dox's plans works. Loki and Sylvie are able to stop it. It was also an incredible moment to see them actually banding together and using their full power. But the shocking part was that they were too late. The timelines, half or most of it, had already been pruned. Billions of lives lost, trillions even, just in a matter of minutes. At number 6, we have Loki's centuries worth of studies. So in episode 6, Loki, after failing to stop the loom over and over again, they didn't have much time to, sit there and actually study or reinforce their plans, come up with a new plan or whatever thing that could solve, this situation. And so he asked Obi how long it would take to actually, have a similar knowledge to what he currently have about all these things in order to help, progress, their plans and actually reinforce it to the extent where it will work after those countless failures. That is when it comes to mechanics, physics and engineering. And so Obi actually replies decades, and Victor Timely even further extends it to centuries. And the shocking part was when the screen fades to black and writings appear on the screen saying centuries later. Like what? Loki really went back in time to study all that. And the mind-boggling part was that it was not just maybe a specific date, it just said centuries. So it could be a number from 200 to 900 years that Loki has spent back and forth to the past, trying to study, learn before everything goes kaboom. Man, that is dedication. And also the sacrifice of one's sanity. Moving on at the 5th spot is Ravonna and Miss Minutes slaughter in episode 4. So after Miss Minutes has actually been, seemingly betrayed by this variant, He Who Remains, she's hurt about her feelings and everything, decides to reveal the truth to Ravonna about her past, and that she was not just, part of the team. She worked hand in hand with He Who Remains and commanded his army, and he erased her memories and all the TVA members' memories. And so these two who have felt like they've been betrayed by He Who Remains and the variant decide to go to the TVA and take it for themselves, and they don't need him, as they said. And so they come into this room where these TVA members have been captured. They try to prune all the branches apart from the secret timeline, and so they are being held and even close to being released by B-15 after a previous conversation. And so Miss Minutes and Ravonna pop up in there, try to get them on their side to take over the TVA, but surprisingly they don't take that offer, and Miss Minutes and Ravonna decide, hey, if you're not going to be on my team, then you're not going to be on anybody's team. And so what do? They activate that machine that Loki almost used to squash Brad, and actually does it to them. Gruesome scene, though they did not show it, but I feel like that just the visual image that is imprinted in your mind on how it would look like. Wow, was it really disturbing? And the look on Miss Minnie's face, like, wow, what a psychopath. At the 4th spot, we have everything unravels and Loki masters his time slipping. So Loki has had this quote-unquote curse on him since the first episode, time slipping back and forth to the past, to the future. But at that time, he didn't know that it was actually a blessing in disguise. He was able to solve this problem in episode 1, but in episode 5, it reactivates after the previous 4th episode. The time loom exploded. So Loki again time slips back and forth 2 different points in time, similar to the people that he's actually looking for, his friends. And Obi, after he finds him, actually tells him that he may be able to control it, but after trying and trying, it doesn't go as planned. But at the ending of the episode, where everything is unraveling, time, the multiverse is dying, all his friends turning into strings, Loki finds it within himself, because of them, to actually master it. And so the episode ends with him going back to before the time loom exploded. The whole scene was goosebump inducing. It was kind of frightening to see how everything is just turning to strings as if it was Wanda's fault. And also super emotional with the state that Loki was in before, having lost all hope, and also see his friends seemingly die in front of him. It was truly a scene where reactions went from shocking, sad, and actually cheering as Loki finally goes to rewrite the story. At number 3, it was still Kang's plan all along, Loki's journey to the past to stop Sylvie. So after all hope had been lost, the loom failed. No matter what Loki did, all the centuries worth of studies could not help solve this situation. And so he decides, then I have to go back to where it all began. That is when Sylvie killed He Who Remains and unleashed chaos on the multiverse. And after failing to stop Sylvie from killing him over and over again, he asks Who Remains why he doesn't fight back, and the whole scene changes when He Who Remains actually stops Sylvie from moving. He actually stops her time, her clock, whatever, and asks Loki how long he's been doing this, and that everything that has been happening, he has been doing, has happened to the multiverse, to them, to the TV. Everything was him. It was the plan all along. It was him that still paved the road for them. A revelation that I know shocked most of us, because that means that everything that Loki and Sylvie, everyone had gone through after his death, it was still his plan all along. Loki's time slipping, everything. Wow, what a truly jaw-opening revelation.
I told you. Reincarnation, baby.
At the 2nd spot, we have Victor Timely's death and the loom's destruction. In episode 3, Loki and Mobius were able to get Victor Timely, He Who Remains variant, who had knowledge about the time loom and could possibly be the one to help solve this, multiversal crisis. So they bring him to the TVA. Obi comes out with a plan. Victor Timely is able to bring out an invention of his, which actually helps out Obi's plan. Everything goes, well, smoothly. They then use Victor Timely's aura to actually open the shut doors. He also volunteers to go out there and, put the machine inside the machine. Everything just went perfect, and it looks like they were finally going to save the multiverse. Victor Timely suits up, the door opens, and it turns to string cheese. Oh my God. What the hell just happened? did they just lose? Did all the planning, all the things that they went through to get here being just a waste of time? It was just a speechless moment as we just watched all these characters shocked at what they were seeing. We were shocked at what we were seeing also. And the episode ends on a cliffhanger as the time loom explodes and the waves blast towards our characters, our protagonists. Wow, wow, wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Now at number 1, we have Loki's sacrifice. Loki becomes the god of stories. This, it feels like, was meant to happen. After everything had failed, Loki going back and forth in time, trying to find a solution, studying for centuries, trying to go back to the past and stop Sylvie from killing He Remains in the first place, failing at that also. He Remains actually even revealing to him that it was his plan all along. Everything was supposed to happen the way it happened, and even him getting his time slipping ability. Like, everything just fell into place, and there was just one option. Either Loki kills Sylvie or do what he did in the episode. And of course, knowing the current Loki, he chose the latter. He goes directly through the time loom, each step, each wave, ripping his clothes and him forming new ones into his new costume, which looks freaking amazing with the horns and everything, and with a display of power that we've never seen him use before. Actually destroys the time loom and grabs each dying branch, teleports it to a different location beyond time, and actually sets up a throne, this time one that was made for him, destined for him to sit on and be the god of time, or the god of the multiverse, or the god of stories. Honestly, these three names fit him perfectly. And what a journey this character has had in the MCU, more than a decade, being Thor's brother, being angry and envious, being a villain that killed hundreds of people on Earth in the first Avengers movie, going through each journey, each film, changing, as he did quite a bit in Thor Ragnarok, to Avengers Infinity War where he got killed, small sacrifice that he made for his brother, and then everything got erased and we got the past Loki who hadn't gone through all that journey in Avengers Endgame, ended up in a branched timeline, all because Hulk took the stairs and then went through that life-changing journey that he went through in last season to this point. This guy is one of the best, if not the best written character in the entire MCU. Now that's it for the top 8 insane moments in Loki season 2. I have a couple of bonuses, 3 to be exact. At number 3 is Ouroboros, finding out that Obi actually learned all that he knows, everything from Victor Timely. Victor Timely also learned everything from the book that Obi wrote, containing all his knowledge, essentially making it the chicken and the egg situation, which came first. At number 2, we then have Loki pruning himself. In episode 1, Loki was supposed to prune himself to help with his time slipping situation. We never knew who pruned him since it was from the back, but in the 4th episode, we found out that it was all a time loop. He was the one who actually did it when the time slipped into the future. And at number 1, the last one, is the time slipping or the time slipping situation. It was just freaky, just uncomfortable to watch, and the effects and how they did it was just truly phenomenal. Oh, and I almost forgot, Miss Minutes is a psycho.
Could have been your girl. Put that down. Don't do this. We're saying you need me. I love you. Victor, I need to tell you, I need to tell you. You'll never be him.
Now that's it for the insane moments in Loki season 2. Amazing season. Truly, this is the best Disney Plus show out there in terms of story. Maybe a little lacking in the action, but as I said before in my previous video, the story made up for that. The revelations, the stakes, and of course the journey of Loki up to this point. Don't know whether there will ever be a season 3. If there is, I know many people just like I am will be very happy, and hopefully Loki plays a significant part in Avengers Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, and maybe in the different projects or projects before that. Now I also have a video on my channel on all the times that Loki and Sylvie used their powers. I hope you check that video out. And also, if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, it helps the channel out. Subscribe and turn on that post notification bell not to miss any new video as well. As always, Nerdy Sage here. See you guys in the next one.